I got a call from Frank Marshall after I directed a very small film called Safety Not Guaranteed, and Steven saw it, and we came in and we spoke for a little while, and we talked, not about necessarily even what this film was going to be, but about why people love this franchise, why people love these stories, and what are the elements that have connected with people over 22 years that we wanted to try and recapture for a new generation. And it was a great conversation, and we all agreed that it was going to be about the story and about the characters and having a narrative that was going to draw people in, because that's what makes you believe in the dinosaurs, is if the people feel real.
I think the deciding factor was Colin himself, because I had seen Safety Not Guaranteed, and I felt that the very last scene of Safety Not Guaranteed was what convinced me that Colin was the right person to direct Jurassic World. That, combined with the fact that he was completely enthusiastic, both as a filmmaker and as a fan, but also had a story. He had a story to tell. He didn't just come in and say, I'd like to render my services directing the fourth installment. He came in with an actual story, and just on paper, even before there was a screenplay, his story worked. But when I say the last scene in Safety Not Guaranteed, the film could have stayed a small movie up until the last, literally, 45 seconds. It could have stayed a very small, independent Sundance film. But he took a leap of faith with the audience and those characters that we weren't believing knew what they were talking about. And when this character that you doubted for most of the film suddenly proves to all of us that we were wrong and he's right, Colin stepped into the mainstream, the commercial mainstream. And because I flew out of my seat when I saw the last scene of that movie. Frank Marshall showed me the film. And that's when I knew that if Colin, was good in the meeting, he was going to get the job.
Well, initially, there were a couple elements that were there when we showed up, and Steven had the idea to make it a fully functioning theme park, and we thought that was incredible. I really felt like we should enter this park through the eyes of a child, which we do in the film, because that's what we are when we think of a fully functioning Jurassic Park. And then the other idea that he brought forward, which I thought was fascinating, is let's make a movie about our relationship with animals on our planet right now, but replace them with dinosaurs. And we cage animals, we view them in zoos, we use them for agriculture, we use them in weaponry for war, and taking off from that idea and exploring, what if humans and dinosaurs have been coexisting for a while and we get to go to the next level of that relationship. There were a lot of really interesting themes and ideas in that, so we just grabbed onto that and ran with it as far as we could.
I thought he had the chops for this, and Colin believed in him, and I really believed in him too. So it was a bit of a risk, and of course when Guardians of the Galaxy came out, we all thought we were really smart. Even though we didn't make Guardians of the Galaxy, no. They made us look really smart. But look, Chris is a wonderful actor. The important thing is he's a has a strong screen presence. He has a tremendous sense of humor, and he's a team player. And so he's going to go all the way with his career. He's really going to go far.
What was difficult was making it feel as grounded in a science as possible, because that's one of the things that these movies have subsisted on forever, is that it felt that even though it was sci-fi, it was based in some science that was happening around us. And right now, I'm sure a lot of people have dogs that are hybrids of various breeds, and it's something that we know. And we thought we could take that and build it into something fearsome that had certain attributes from various animals that would have been incorporated into it. And one of the other advantages that we had is because this park isn't entirely reliant on mosquitoes anymore, we were able to have an underwater reptile that was a new addition to this film. And I remember, I think it was you in person, I showed you this image of the Mosasaurus coming out of the water and eating a shark. And I kind of realized in the moment, oh God, he's eating a shark. Is Steven going to think that I'm making some kind of statement about Jaws here? And I wasn't. And you were on board with it. And I think that the idea of creating something new that is going to eat one of the most fearsome predators that we know on our planet for lunch was exciting. And so we tried to tie these animals into animals that we know as much as possible.
Right.
I didn't feel like we reinvented them. They're still dangerous predators.
Right.
And we found this balance. We found, there was this character, and this was an idea that Stephen had actually a long time ago in this process, to have someone who has a relationship with these fearsome predators in the same way that there's guys out in Africa who will stick their heads in the mouths of lions. And we watch these YouTube videos of these guys, and they seem insane, and it was fun to put a little bit of, someone's kind of crazy to do that, and it makes them a little more interesting. And look, I mean, the Raptors certainly aren't entirely friendly at the beginning, middle, or the end of this movie, and we certainly didn't want to defang them in any way.
Right.
We just wanted to take this relationship that had been evolving over all three pictures to the next level. I was excited to be there. I think and everyone, Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard, Ty Simpkins, who's the biggest Jurassic Park fan you're going to find, to be able to be surrounded by people who were so thrilled. They knew it was a special time. They knew it was a special moment in their careers and just in their lives as movie fans. And that was, that spirit that we had on set, I think, is infused into the movie, and you can feel it. And it's something that I can imagine, Stephen's other films were like, because I can feel it in those movies. I showed my son Raiders of the Lost Ark this weekend for the first time, and there's an infectious energy in that movie. And the things that I love about Stephen's films is it just makes you feel like you want to be on that adventure with those characters. And I don't think it just applies to big adventures. I'd apply it to my own first film. I want to be in the back seat of that SUV as they're going to find a guy who maybe can travel through time. And the ability to create a group of actors who has that energy, I know it transfers to the screen. I know you feel it.
Well, the first movie, took a lot of pain to establish how intelligent the raptors were, and that sort of is proven when the raptor learns how to open the door when the kids are hiding in the kitchen, and and so we've established early on, and I think Jack Horner and other paleontologists have also figured out, just based on the fossil record, that the raptors were one of the most intelligent of all the animals, and so that intelligence is a bonus for Jurassic World because it plays into the plot in a very important, significant way.